Right, so I just want to quickly talk about the switch case. Now, switch cases are very similar to just a bunch of if statements. So we could do something like based on what this number is. So if we wanted to do something, if it's 1, we want to do something. If it's 2, we want to do something. So we could do an if. So if num is equal to 1, then do this. Else, if num equals 2, do that. Else, if num equals to 3, do something else. Right, so that would be just a bunch of ifs. Now, the problem with this is as it runs through, it literally needs to check each one. And we can actually check that. Let's just put my numbers on. And we can start a debug over there. Right, so if we do this debug, we can see there, it's going to go check that. Step over, it'll check that. Step over, check that. So basically it does each one. Now where a switch case can be used, instead of doing this, we can use a switch case. So I'm just going to comment that out and use a switch case. So switch, and we want to check num. If it is equal to 1, then do this. Now I'm going to quickly just make a mistake just to show you what happens. Right, so let's check what happens. Let's run it. And it does do that and do something else. Now that's weird because obviously case at this point is 2, it's not 3. And let's just actually move this down here, just so it's above our switch case. Right, so to prevent that from happening, what we do afterwards is we break the statement. So we use the break, just if it goes into that case, then we break it. And finally, we just do a default. This just makes sure that even if we do or hit none of the variable or none of the conditions, that it will then hit the default. So if we run it, see now it just prints do that. But if we set this to 5, for instance, so obviously there isn't an option for 5, it'll then print the default, and so nothing worked. So the benefit of this system is it doesn't check each one individually. It goes right to the one that's set there. It's in something called a hash table, and so it is a lot quicker, especially when we've got a lot of things happening. Obviously in this case we only have 3 examples, but if it did expand and we had 2300 or 2300 as we should say properly, it's then going to have to go through each one until it finds the right thing. If we use if else statements, but using the switch, it'll go directly to the case that matters.